Hello everyone, next game review. I will tell you about the title called Humankind. In this game you lead your empire from the early hunting and gathering age to modern times and the colonization of Mars. I was wondering whether Humankind is just another cheap civilization and Age of Empires half-breed with a price tag of 50 euros, or whether this title rediscovers the 4X strategy genre and starts a new groundbreaking legacy. In this review you will hear a story Humankind tells during each game, overall impressions and my highly subjective game rating. A short disclaimer. This review focuses on core gameplay, not taking into account scenarios, challenges or multiplayer experience, also present in this title. Humankind tells us a story of a tribe that you expect to become the most powerful nation in the world. Every story in Humankind starts from the selection of world size and structure, temperature and humidity levels, game speed, game end conditions and difficulty level. Speaking about the difficulty, I was disappointed, at least from the description. It seems like designers modify difficulty by adding bonuses to you or the AI players, so basically AI will not act smarter, just get some bonuses. Humankind falls into 4X game category, which stands for games that are concerned about exploring, expanding, exploiting and exterminating, well, not necessarily in the order provided. So, as it is usual in 4X games, after passing the initial game world configuration challenge, you start with a single unit in the middle of nowhere. You see some forest on the left, some river on the right and some hills in front of you. Everything else is covered in fog. You exterminate the fog by coming close to it. It's like trying to find the end of the rainbow. Basically, you start the first phase of the 4Xs, exploring. This activity is pretty fun in itself, especially on big maps. What makes it more fun, besides just revealing the map, you also collect so-called discoveries. They give you science or food and influence points. The first era is different from the others. It represents a period of time when humans were hunters and gatherers. In this era, food is used to grow your tribe, just like in a snake game. You eat food and grow bigger. Here you get additional units. This not only multiplies your exploring and gathering capabilities, but also helps you to stay alive when meeting some animals, which you may fight. Some of them just roam peacefully, while others, like bears, have a different understanding of the food chain, especially who is on top, and attack you to explain their point of view. So, you collect stuff, and once you had enough fun exploring and upon collecting enough influence, you switch your attention to expanding, the second X, that is claiming territory and building your empire. You build outposts to claim territory. Here I must admit a very nice concept of outposts and cities in this game. Build outposts and then convert them to cities or attach outposts to a nearby city to expand it. All map is divided into territories, and each territory may have only one outpost or city. This creates interesting choices as you are limited in the number of outposts you may build. Another limiting factor is the limit of cities you may control without penalties. This number grows as you progress in the game. In each era, you collect so-called era stars. You need 7 of them to progress to a new era. Each star is like a small quest. Collect, build or destroy something. When you start building stuff on the map, not just carelessly picking what lays around or quarreling with the bears, I guess this moment is called a birth of the civilization. After your first era star, you get to select a culture for your second era. Speaking about cultures, you choose one from the list and it brings city names, unit icons and new fancy clothes for your avatar. More important, each culture comes with some bonuses, a unique city district and a unique unit. I believe the idea behind this is to plan how you expect to play in the next era, for example expanding, growing tall, trading, etc. and choose accordingly. Of course, you may do vice versa, choose the culture and then try to adapt and profit from it. Animations. So when you switch to a new era, you see some pretty nice animation reflecting the era to come. When finally you manage to build your first city, you will start caring about so-called FIMS. Food, industry, money and science. Nothing exceptional here. Food is produced by the city and eaten by your citizens. If you have a surplus, the city grows. The industry is how fast your city may build stuff. Money is used to support and upgrade units, and science is used for research. When producing units, each unit requires one or more population to build. In a city, you select one of 5 types of production: a shared project or wonder, a district, an infrastructure project, some unit, or some pointless conversion activity. A brilliantly implemented feature: shared projects. Building some religious buildings, wonders, or a big project, it is like crowdfunding. You assign multiple cities to build it. Unfortunately, big shared projects in the late game don't feel so big when you can complete them within several turns. Districts and wonders are visible on the map after you build them. A good feature is if you change your mind, you may build and replace all district with a different one. When you have cities, they start generating research. From this moment, you choose your research from a research tree. Technologies give you new districts, units, or capabilities, like the ability to cross water or reinforce armies in a battle with other armies. What I like, you may click multiple technologies to queue them to aim for some further tech that is not available right away. What I consider a big flaw, there is no connection between eras and research. In the early game it's okay, but later it feels strange when, for example, in the contemporary, in other words modern era, you just research gunpowder or flintlock. A time comes when you stop just expanding. You switch to exploiting all the land grabbed so far. In Humankind, you see a beautiful, detailed and lively world. If zoomed in, you can see animals, birds. On the map, you see antelopes grazing or running away from the tiger, people, buildings and smoke coming from houses and factories, trade cars or trains running between cities. Game events. From time to time, they pop up and force you to make a decision. Some of them give bonuses, others cost money, and some of them may trigger further events. They feel rather random, mostly not related one to another, and mostly they feel annoying instead of building any story or bringing any spice to the game. As society grows, principles, rules and attitudes are formed. Here you will encounter civics. These are just another set of your empire features that gives bonuses in different areas, bought for influence. Societies usually tend to believe in something above. They have a religion. Cities generate some faith, and upon collecting a sufficient number of faith, you get to select the religion, and later, when more faith points accumulated, you shape your religion by adding so-called tenets, which again give some bonuses to your empire. Interesting mechanics of religion, but it feels very shallow. No serious impact on gameplay, just another way to get some benefits. In the late game, role of religion disappears completely. Sound. I love the music, from some culture-specific and era-based songs to some modern songs adapted for the era. Good variety of soundtracks.
Off we go. Let's go!
Culture. It exists and even has its map overlay, but again, I haven't felt any significant effect it has on the game, except for annoying pop-ups that I block immediately. The last extermination, or world domination, is only one of the possible paths to victory in this game. As usual, any
I'm
conflict
listening.
starts and ends via diplomacy.
Sovereign,
Representatives
how
of
can I
all the
help you?
empires are well animated, each with a different character,
How do you
since
do?
nothing new in this type
Whoever
of
you
game,
are.
but they start conversations and respond with a very
have
diverse
something to
replicas,
say.
some dull, but some rather entertaining.
You look different. Haircut?
There is an intriguing war support mechanics. To start any war, you must have sufficient support from your population to start a war without the penalties. War support changes based on your interaction with neighboring empires. The War and Peace Treaty model is a hybrid, combining standard civilization style with Europa Universalis or Crusader King style war score. Side winning the war, select territories it will get after signing the peace treaty accordingly to a war score collected. Also, this title adds an interesting concept of war reparations, paying money for unspent war score upon signing the peace treaty. But overall, diplomacy feels very limited compared to other strategy titles. What I like about units in this game, you combine them into armies, so they are not scattered around the map one by one like cockroaches. Sooner rather than later, your army gets into a battle. I would say battles in this game have all the components of a good drama or comedy.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
The good. I love the battle start mechanics, a separate battle map. You deploy and then operate your army and reinforcement units around it. Each unit attack and defense takes into account terrain and height advantages. Classical unit type bonuses, pikes beat cavalry, cavalry beats archers, and so on. The bad. Very strange behavior, especially when you don't have the reinforcement technology researched. Units that are on the battlefield and cannot be called as the reinforcements are frozen in place until the end of the battle, which may last for several game turns. I must admit, a very poor battle AI. The idea of reinforcements is great, but the way it is implemented is very clumsy and unrealistic when you just spawn a group of units in the middle of the battlefield. Also, unfortunately, no retreat option from the battle exists. The ugly. I hate the health mechanics implemented in this game. Any unit damaged still operates at almost full strength with a minimal degradation in power, like a unit of 18 strength get -2 when it's almost out of health. It's like a company of soldiers that have only several men left, with torn apart armor and broken weapons still can deliver almost full damage. Speaking about the tutorials and difficulty, this game has a list of beautifully compiled video tutorials. Overall game difficulty changes. It is more difficult at the start, and if you survive, it becomes much easier from the mid-game. So, wrapping up, this title brings some fresh ideas and modified concepts to Civilization and 4X style gaming. Unfortunately, some concepts like battle mechanics are still clunky and feel unfinished. The greatest strength is that your empire is not cast in stone. It evolves and alters your gameplay. Also, lots of unique units and buildings from each culture in each era. I would say Humankind has a rather strong early gameplay, but it is very unbalanced and the gameplay experience starts to fall apart from the mid-game. I believe if developers balance overall gameplay and fix inconsistent features, it could become a strong contender to the Civilization series. If not, this will be just one more charming attempt like the Call to Power titles. I rate Humankind 7 out of 10 points, taking into account this title's price level. You may check a separate Humankind gameplay video, link in the description or at the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this review and I hope It will help you decide whether Humankind is your next game or not. If you like this video, please leave your feedback by pressing the like button and also subscribe to the channel to get notified about the new videos. See you in the next game reviews.